Literature examination. Hope you all have been preparing well. You have your English literature exam tomorrow. So I'm going to share a few small tips and tricks that helped me to score a 97 out of 100 in English literature ICSE examination 2025. Yeah, I gave ICSE last year, that is ICSE 2025. Hope this video will be helpful for all of you. So let's get started. So first of all, I would suggest you a very small tip that helped me to secure a good marks in English literature is that you have a choice of questions in English literature. So we all know that in the first 15 minutes after we get our question paper, we are told to go through the questions, read the questions, and just sit down. So in the first 15 minutes, what you can really do is utilize your time in making the choice of your questions that you are going to choose from section B, section C, and section D. That would be a massive work. In that short time span, you should be spending the whole time, like 15 minutes, in the choice of the questions that you are going to attempt. Okay, because later when you are attempting the questions, you should not be busy in making the choice of the questions. So first of all, after you get your paper, in the first 15 minutes you should be very sure about the questions you are going to attempt. So once you start writing, you don't get confused, oh, which question should I do and all. So you should be very sure about the question you're going to attempt. In the starting of section B, you'll see a confusing line. That seems confusing a little bit, but it is very easy if you get what does it mean. It says that answer one or more questions from this section. So in the starting of section B, in the starting of section C and section D itself, you'll see all of these sections at the starting. This statement will be written. So what does it mean? It means that from each of the sections, that is section B, section C, and section D, you have to attempt one question, okay, compulsorily, and another, there is the fourth question, should be from any of these sections according to your choice. But one question should be attempted from these three sections. The fourth question is of your choice. You will choose that by yourself, which seems easier to you. If you think that Julius Caesar, that is drama questions, are easy for you to answer, then you can go for that. And if you think that short stories questions from short stories are easy for you, then you can surely go for it. And if you think that questions from the poetry part is easy for you, then you can surely attempt two questions from that section. So it depends on you from which section will you attempt two questions, and from the rest two you have to attempt one question each. So that is about the section B, section C, and section D. And this sounds confusing, but it is actually very easy if you get what does that statement mean. Let's move on to the next thing. So in question one, that is section A, you have 16 marks MCQs. So as soon as you after your 15 minutes time span ends, your next target should be attempting the MCQs as soon as possible. Like, you should be very swift, and you should be very logical while answering the MCQs. The MCQs will be based on analytical understanding, recall, and analysis of all the syllabus of everything that you have in your syllabus. That is the drama Julius Caesar, the short stories, 5 short stories, and 5 poetries. I mean 5 poems. So 16 marks MCQ. If you are able to gain marks from the MCQ like fully, then you will be at a very good pace. You should be attempting each MCQ, and should be very cautious while you are reading the question of MCQ, because sometimes it is human behavior that we get confused in simple things. We perceive something as something different, so we make silly mistakes. So silly mistakes is not acceptable. You shouldn't be doing silly mistakes in this case. So read the statement of the MCQ very properly. Like, whatever it is written, you have to be very cautious about it. It may be written that, suppose I'm giving an example. Suppose the question says that, among the following statements, choose which one is correct. Now you may read it as not correct, or maybe it's written not correct and you read it as correct. So you will be answering something else, and the question asks for something else. This shouldn't happen. So silly mistakes is to be avoided. And also, a few things that helped me while reading drama is, what did I do is, I placed my actual that drama book here and the paraphrase beside it. So while I read the drama, if I was stuck anywhere, I took help of the paraphrase and went through it. How did I read drama is, I went act wise, scene wise. Like, if I'm reading act 1, I'll complete act 1, scene 1, scene 2, like this sequentially. And after I complete each scene, I would again go through the paraphrase, so that I get in my mind, okay, what did I read actually? Because I know that drama language is very like complicated, and sometimes we don't get what the character is telling. So it is difficult, but you have to get through it. And you should be very clear about what each character is telling, because the questions may come from anywhere. So you have to be very cautious while you are reading drama. And the drama is actually hard for me. Like, it was really hard for me, so I didn't attempt two questions from drama in section B. I rather chose easier question, which I had to attempt because it's compulsory. But I didn't do two questions from drama. But there are students which I have heard of, like many of my friends did attempt two questions from Julius Caesar, and they were very fine with it. They got like good marks. The teachers gave good marks. But if you are not comfortable with writing answers from drama, then you should definitely go for either short stories or poem. But yeah, drama was really hard for me. But it's not very hard. You can do it. But I thought, my thought process was like, I would be able to write more properly for short stories and poems rather than writing for drama. So I went for prose. And while you are reading short stories, there is the prose part. You have to be again very careful, because MCQs come from anywhere. And short stories are also important, because long questions, that is the section C questions, are like, you have to attempt one. And if you think that you are comfortable with short stories, then you can go for two questions from section C. So that's all I have to say. And short stories should be read thoroughly if you want to write answers properly. So if you read the short stories thoroughly for twice or thrice, then it will be very easy for you to write the answers by your own. That's what I did. And I also took help of a few notes that my teacher gave. But most of the times I went through the short stories like numerous times, so that I get familiar, okay, what is happening in the story actually. And that is how I learned to write answers all by myself. And for section D, I would say, while you are reading poem, it may happen that you are not familiar with the poem, or you are not getting what the poet is trying to convey. In that case, like, I have heard many don't take tuition for English. So what do they do is, even I had tuition, but I did this thing. That is, I read the poem once, and then I tried to understand it by myself. When I did not get it, I either took help from a few YouTube videos, or most of the times when I did not have time to watch videos, what did I do is, I read the poem and went to the internet, the name of the poem, on Google, and beside it I wrote summary of this poem. Okay, so you will get a short summary of that poem, and you'll be able to get what is the poet actually trying to convey. So it will be easier for you to understand, okay, this is the main motto of the poem, and these are the, you'll also get a few words with which you will be able to write answer, I think. So that's what I did. That really helped me to write answers while I was confused with the poem. So what did I do? I read the summary. I wrote most of the times I also wrote the summary, and I went through the summary after reading the poem. The poem is surely important, but if you read summary, it will be more clear to you, because poems are not very much like you can understandable. Okay, it is complicated a little. So if you go through the summary, then it will be a little easier for you to perceive what is the poet trying to say. So that's all I did, and yeah, so that's all in this video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye, and also best of luck for your exams.